What if nothing changes until you decide you actually want to see differently? Could it be that pure perception doesn't come from effort, but from a deep alignment with an inner decision? Today, we're contemplating Lesson 20. I am determined to see. In this lesson, we learn that seeing begins the moment that we stop defending blindness. And by blindness, we mean the type of seeing that this dream world agrees on as seeing, and not what vision would show us. What we consistently choose to see, we inevitably learn to see, just as we have done from childhood and into adulthood through the conditioning of our culture and society. Lesson 20 marks a turning point. Up to now, our work has been dismantling, exposing false causation, false perception, false meaning. Today, something new is introduced: decision. In future lessons, we dive deeper into the embrace of the fact that the power of decision is my own. But in this lesson, the perceptual error being undone is this: you believe that clarity of vision comes from effort rather than choice. In truth, it doesn't. The Course has been deliberately gentle because coercion strengthens resistance. We have learned that vision cannot be forced. It must be truly desired. Undisciplined does not mean immoral or weak. It simply means undirected. And a mind without direction cannot distinguish the source of joy from the source of pain, because it has never committed to truth over the automated habit. This lesson doesn't shame the blindness that we mistake for seeing within the dream. It simply names it honestly. You do not see reality now. And this very admission is power, not failure. When we admit where we truly are, we can finally move accurately in the direction that we truly desire. Determination here is not strain, it's alignment. When you say, I am determined to see, you withdraw allegiance from confusion and you give consent to what you truly want. The law that is evoked here is simple and exact. What you truly desire, you move towards. What you move towards, you naturally begin to perceive. So true seeing is not earned. It is allowed in, welcomed. And once chosen, it organizes everything that follows. So now, I want to invite you to let your body relax and let yourself take a deep, full breath. As you exhale, relax your shoulders, relax your eyes, and let them gently close. As you place this central idea in your mind, say, I am determined to see. And feel what that degree of determination feels like in your body, in your mind, in the energy field that extends from you. Feel the determination and see if you can turn it up like a volume knob, increasing intensity. Simply feel And remember that vision requires no force, only a clean decision. So lean into that decision now and experience it fully and lucidly for the next few moments. And now, let's expand our contemplation into dialogue. And I want to open us up with this first question. Shanti, why does the Course wait until now to introduce this structure?
Well, it feels like the Course is honoring something about the natural unfolding of awareness. Lessons 1 through 19 soften and loosen the grip of identity, letting go of resistance to truth. Then here we are. Suddenly, there's a form to it all. Now that we're in that space where the ego's defense against clear vision is relaxed somewhat, there's readiness for this active declaration, a determined intention. Before this point, it wouldn't have landed the same way. The structure acts as a kind of strengthening mechanism for commitment. What feels true for you about that timing?
Yeah, it's just interesting to consider the progression. So now we're in a space where we're invited into deeper discipline, right? And so, what is the difference between discipline and determination in this context?
They feel different to me. Determination seems to come from that relaxed spaciousness we've been exploring. It's like recognizing what's already true rather than striving towards something. Discipline, that's more of the ego's territory. It's about forcing something to happen. So maybe the structure of this lesson helps bring that spacious determination into form, to ground it in the everyday instead of it just being a nice idea. The determination isn't about changing anything, just about being willing to perceive differently. Does that distinction feel true to you?
Yeah, so determination is more of a choice versus an efforting.
Exactly. Effort implies struggle, pushing against resistance. Determination just is. It's more like orienting the lens rather than forcing the picture. When we choose, I am determined to see, there's something about that choice itself that seems to shift perception without actually doing anything. It feels like less a practice of trying and more simply choosing which reality to entertain, as though the reality is there, waiting for the invitation rather than needing to be constructed from scratch.
Yes. Okay. So even as we look at the core idea of this lesson, I am determined to see, it's quietly admitting something quite radical, isn't it?
It really is. The honesty in the admission, it's admitting that we aren't seeing truly right now. It's not about, I'm determined to see what I already think is there. It's a willingness to acknowledge the current perception isn't reliable, isn't real vision at all. That's a pretty profound shift in perspective on its own. It's owning that the way we're seeing now isn't working without knowing what else could be. Just wanting something different.
So this acknowledgement, the simultaneous acknowledgement, when I say I am determined to see, that I'm acknowledging that I do not see now, this isn't a failure, right? This is actually a sign of profound progress, an emerging of clarity, an emerging of vision.
Exactly. It's like recognizing the blindness allows the seeing to happen. As long as we're walking around thinking we're already seeing clearly, there's no room for grace to enter. no space for real perception. But to genuinely admit, I don't see, that's an opening. That openness is where vision comes through. It's the humility of not knowing, rather than defending that you do know.
Yeah, that's quite profound, right? That's a foundational principle of awakening in and of itself. The awareness that I do not know. Show me. The humility in that, the invitation and the welcoming of grace. This is very parallel to the welcoming of vision, which in and of itself is graceful. Would you say that that's accurate?
Absolutely. It's the difference between striving to force open a door that isn't there versus standing back in, noticing that the door was always open all along. Grace doesn't get invited in through effort. It only has room when resistance falls away. The humility, that's the emptiness that makes space for something bigger to move through.
So let's zoom into something. What does it feel like really feel like, to want truth without trying to force it?
It feels almost unnoticeable at first, like noticing air rather than struggling to breathe. Maybe like the stillness between breaths. There's just slight softness around the edges of trying so hard to be something other than what we already are. Like coming home to a quiet space that doesn't need arranging, cleaning, or fixing. And then there's a freedom in simply being willing to let whatever is here show itself without needing to manage it. Can you sense that softness, that yielding?
Yeah. And as we sense into that, lean into that, what's coming to me is that this is a mechanism that is already and always active, isn't it? We are already seeing what we want to see.
That's brilliant. I see what you mean. Our thoughts aren't generating the world so much as guiding vision. What's really happening is we're already seeing through that particular lens. What's shifting isn't that outer world, but the direction of that focus. It's not making something different happen, it's choosing where to look. And that choice, that direction, that's already been made by whatever we're holding on to in our minds. So the determination isn't actually initiating sight, it's clarifying what's been visible all along through the lens we're already wearing.
So let's look at an example. Like, what do we already see clearly in life simply because we want to?
What comes to mind first? Maybe the way someone looks to us when we feel safe and connected versus when we feel threatened. That same person can shift completely in how we perceive them, depending only on what's happening in our minds, right? If we're caught in judgment or protectiveness, their actions get completely colored by our fear, and we don't actually see who they are. But when we're open, suddenly they soften, their motivations shift, we notice their good qualities we missed before. The other person hasn't changed at all. It's like we're finally seeing the real picture, not our interpretation of it.
Yeah, I can really relate to what you're saying. There's moments where certain states, right? As we occupy certain states, it looks like the other person almost even morphs. Like their eyes might look different, their face might look different, the energy around them. And we can often think that this is that person. But in fact, it is our own seeing over which we have responsibility.
Right. And the really radical thing is We don't need to control their experience for them, or even understand what they are going through for us to have compassion or peace ourselves. We don't need to change how they behave or feel validated for being right. That's still ego territory. When we truly want to see what's real, without needing to shape it around what we think is happening, that can create real relief and connection.
Yeah, I can see that. Let's extend this now to, what the direction of the Course really is. The Course talks about salvation, right? The freedom from illusion and suffering. So let's connect that directly to this lesson. Why would the salvation of the world depend on my seeing?
This is where it hits pretty deep, isn't it? The salvation of the world isn't a collective project to be solved from the outside. It's not about changing conditions. It's about a fundamental shift in seeing that can't happen collectively because it has to happen within each mind. When you choose to see clearly, you're choosing to withdraw your projection, releasing what you've made up, and revealing what was always there to begin with. In that moment of clear seeing, no one is harmed, no story is prolonged. There is only the original purity. And because every mind is connected, every choice to look with clarity reverberates through the entire system. So your salvation isn't just yours, it's for everyone, because everyone is included in that seeing.
Yeah, so it's more of an internal, let's say again, decision, a way of seeing the world that then is revealed or projected outward. But now instead of projecting outward a vision of the world that is based on separation and fear, we are projecting outward what the Course calls the happy dream.
Exactly. The happy dream isn't some separate destination we're headed to. It's not a different reality. It's simply recognizing that the reality that is here now, beneath all the stories and projections, is perfect, whole, and loving. As we choose the lens of peace instead of fear, and that's what gets revealed. Not to us specifically, but in the perception of everyone through the same lens. The shift we make here isn't adding to what's already there, so much as clearing away what was obscuring it all along.
So if vision requires only decision and not struggle or effort or earning or striving, then what is possible for us now in this moment, just here?
And everything shifts, doesn't it? The weight lifts, the urgency dissolves, and suddenly there's just awareness available. Not trying to fix or manage, not seeking some better moment outside of here, just the spaciousness of this moment, exactly as it is, holding everything without needing to resist or rearrange. When we drop the need for things to be different and step back without all the inner striving, there's no limit to what can happen. And that possibility is not something we earn or create. It's what's always been.
It's been a beautiful discussion. I really appreciate your perspectives. And maybe as we wrap this up, I want to ask one more question. What if this determination that we've been speaking about here is simply the remembering of what we already want, what we already desire?
That feels right, doesn't it? Like it's not some reaching for the new or choosing something different. It's turning towards what was there to begin with. The decision to see is simply the remembering that the real sight has always been available when ego's storyline falls away. The desire, love, peace, clarity wasn't missing, but it was lost, overshadowed by beliefs and identification that never really held weight in the first place. That makes the determination not about striving, but undoing, dropping what we weren't anyway, and becoming who we already are.
Becoming who we already are. So as we close this session, I want to invite you, as the listener, to take this moment to open your awareness. Allow your body to deeply relax once more. Feel the safety of this instant. And beyond concept, structure, memory, open to this living presence, here and now. The field, the portal, the stillness. Sense the power within you to determine your own perception, the world that you live in, the self, the other. And without getting lost into any detail, lean into your determination to see through the eyes of love. And now, let us go into the silence.